let's go ahead and create the sharp part of the armor. So I'm gonna create something that looks similar to this. Yeah, once again, we don't really have to 100% stick to the concept. There's like a lot of different types of concept art of Grom Hellscream that you're gonna see on the internet. And yeah, you could like kind of implement your own style to it also. You don't have to, just have fun with it, guys, alright? Unless, of course, you're working in the industry and your boss want you to do the exact same concept to the core. But, you know, even the industries, in the game industry or in the film industry, sometimes the concept is very vague and you have to be more imaginative and kind of implement some of your ideas onto the concept. But yeah, for this one, let's go ahead and create the sharp elements of the armor that will give him more of that scary, bold look. And we're gonna start out with a box, alright? Shift A, actually a cube right here. And we go ahead and scale that down. I'm gonna bring it down here because this is gonna be where the first spike is going to be. Yeah, it's gonna be right here, somewhere there. So I'm using this as a reference of how big it's gonna be, but it's okay. We could always scale it down if it's too large or too small. Hit the tab key. Gonna go to a face, and I'm gonna move this. And right now I still have my proportional editing, so I'm gonna turn that off. I'm gonna move this. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and extrude this out. Let's go and extrude and move that up and scale, and we go and rotate this something like that and extrude and move it up. So it's going to be a little bit curved, just a tad bit. And of course scale it until it's like sharp, something like that. We could always go back to edge and move the edge down, move this up. And I could select the face here at the back and scale that up a tad bit, and select the edges here and scale it up a tad bit. There you go. And we don't need the face here at the back because it's not going to show, so we can just delete the faces there. Alright, so it's hollow here. And I want to scale this in the Z direction, in the Y direction a bit. There you go. Alright, of course, if we add the subdivision, this is going to melt down, so we need to add some supporting loops for this one, okay? So, Control R, add one right here, add one right here. Actually, I don't want it too close to the edge. Maybe something like that, and like this. So remember, the closer the edges are, the sharper the edges will be. So really think about how sharp you want the edge to be. So I don't want it that sharp, and I don't want it to melt down here, so I'm gonna just add another one right there. Okay, and if I add the subdivision surface, alright, and I'm gonna set this one to 2 and right click and shade smooth. Okay, so that's gonna be the first part there for the armor. Okay, and another thing that I want to do is I'm gonna create the other, so we have this one and we're just gonna make copies of it like what you see here. And then this is also just a smaller version of this, but then this one is a little different. this doesn't have that curve. It's just going to be straight out like that. So with that one, I'm just going to create a brand new box, cube, and of course scale it and move that forward and just bring it down, zoom in a little closer. And I know that it's gonna be placed here, so I could use this as a reference for how big it's gonna be. Yeah, something like that. And I'm gonna hit the tab key and select the face here. I'm just gonna move it forward and scale it down. Press dot on the num block, zoom in, and scale it more. Probably too much, something like that. Okay, I think this could be a little bit bigger, just a tad bit. Okay, and of course we don't need the back part. We could just remove the face here, and we could add some supporting loops around the edges so it's not gonna melt down when we add the subdivision surface. Okay, so that's good. And of course, another one right here. And add a subdivision surface. And set that to 2. And I'm gonna go ahead and shade smooth. Right? Okay, so now I could just make a copy of this one. And I'm gonna go ahead and move that down. So now we're going to place it where it needs to go. Gonna go and rotate this. That's gonna be about negative 90 degrees. That's not gonna work. Maybe something like this. Yeah, it's best to just rotate. Okay, move it down. And rotate. That's gonna be 80 degrees. And I'm gonna go and rotate this way, and I'm just gonna move this here and move it down. Zoom in a little bit. Rotate this way. Uh-oh, careful with that. Something like that. And move it down and bring it right back up. Could be a little tricky, but it's all about putting it in the right place. So we need 3 of these here actually. So this is one, and I'll make another one that's gonna be right here. And I'm gonna scale this one a tad bit. This is gonna be like a smaller version, just a tad bit smaller, but about the same. And I'm also gonna need one like right about here, and these are gonna be rotated. Same for this, it's gonna be rotated and like that. Move this and gonna push that in. Move this here and move that down and rotate it a tad bit that way. This one a tad bit rotate. There you go. And this one, this right here, could push it down a bit. Okay, so something like that. And of course, we need two smaller ones right about here. So yeah, let's go ahead and set that up. Selecting this here, Shift D, and move that. Actually, I rather make a copy of this one here. Shift D, and move that down. Move it this way, and scale it. And for this, I'm going to just rotate the green ring and rotate the blue ring a tad bit. So you kind of want it to fit in as much as possible. Move that up. And rotate this way. And push it down. And I'm gonna make another copy of this one. And this one is going to be just rotating this way. Let me see here. Yeah, rotate this way, that way, and go ahead and push this down. There you go. And I want to kind of rotate it this direction, and then that. It's kind of curved. So it's gonna be like the bigger fangs, I guess that's what it represents here. Alright, and then another one is gonna be this here. I'm gonna have to duplicate this and gonna put this, 3 of these right here. Actually 4. So I'm gonna make a copy of this, Shift D. Move it down. Go to the front. Here. Looking from the top view. Okay, so I'm gonna rotate this way. That's gonna be 90 degrees. Okay, and of course it's not gonna really be 90 degrees because we need to have it more like conforming to the shape of our armor here. And then we're gonna rotate this blue ring. Okay. Sometimes it's best to look at it from far away first. So this does have to be smaller than the one at the top, but I think it's just a tad bit too small, so I'm just gonna scale this up a bit and move it up. Okay, and good. I think it's too big, so I'm gonna scale it just down a bit. Move it up and duplicate this and move it and rotate and move it down. It's best to do this after you add the simple deform, because if you implement these before adding the simple deform modifier to bend, these sharp elements will deform in areas that you don't want to. So in this case, I actually have to do it this way. But I suggest you do mess around with it, and so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. It's great to watch video tutorials and follow me as I go, but it is also good if you can explore on your own. You might learn new things yourself. Okay. Alright, so I think this is looking pretty good. Definitely he looked a lot more menacing. Okay, I think the teeth here could be a tad bit larger, so I'm gonna scale it up a bit. So that's gonna be copy that and paste it. There you go. So it's exactly the same size as the other one. Okay, so let me see how this looks like when it's rendered. Okay, yeah, that's looking nice, the armor. It's coming along. Okay, and what we do now is we need to make a strap. A few straps actually, going this way and this here. So 3 of them. So that will put the armor, hold the armor on the glove area. Let's select our gloves. And you can see I still have mirror on. I'm gonna just apply the mirror that way. If I hit the tab key, I'm gonna be able to select this area. And going to select this edge here, go to select, loops, edge ring, and then go to vertex. So that will allow you to select the faces, go to face, and Shift D to make a copy. Press P on your keyboard and separate by selection. Alright, so got that as a separate piece now. Now we can select that and also our glove, Shift H to isolate that. And we can hit the tab key. We could kind of straighten this out a bit, alright? So, could go here and move that. Move this up a bit. And going to lasso, select the vertices here and move it a tad bit up. And this one, move it down and down. And this here, move it up. Okay. And good. Better straighten this area out. Good. Select these, move it up a tad bit. Okay. Now let's unhide everything. Selecting this strap area, hit the tab key. Now what we could do is we go to edge. Actually, let's add another edge loop right here. Yeah, right about there. Actually, I want to add it like kind of right about here. And I'll show you why I added that extra edge. Let me show you. Yeah, I added an extra edge right here, and I'll show you in a minute why I did that right there. But I want to go and straighten this out a bit more. Okay. So now we could go select our face here and remove the face. Let's go to here and extrude that out. And gonna move this. Right, and gonna move this closer here. Extrude this out and scale it down. Go down a tad bit. And we could add another one right here and scale it up. Alright, so we got this nice little belt thing going. It looks like a little bit like a belt, but yes, it is a strap. And we could unhide everything. And zoom into that strap again. Now we could add thickness to this, okay? Definitely. Yeah, looking at this here, I think for this, is the tab key. Okay, I think what I want to do is I'd rather have, I'm gonna go select the face here. I'm gonna remove the faces there. Okay, and I want to go ahead and just weld the vertices. M and yeah, collapse at the center. Okay, so I think I want to just rather add maybe right here and go to face and then delete this face. I think it will look better here. And then extrude and scale and add one right here and scale it up. Okay, so let me see how that one looked like. Okay, I think that's better. I'd rather have it there. I think it was a little bit too low at the beginning, but yeah, something like this. And then let's hit the tab key and we gotta add thickness to this. Let's go to our face and let's select here. Alt E on our keyboard, extrude face along normals. And if it's still too thin, press S on your keyboard and just scale it up. And good. Go ahead and move this down. Yeah, that's fine. And of course, we gotta go ahead and you can make a copy of this and put it on around this area. Before I do that, I want to hit the tab key. I want to go ahead and add edge loop right here and also right here. And let's go and make a copy of this. Let's go select all the faces, Shift D, and make a copy of that right there. And gotta move that. So try to rotate and move to kind of have it fit. Probably move it and scale it up a bit, something like that, and rotate. Now what we could do is we could separate this, press P and separate that and select this, so now it's by itself, and then gonna go here, turn on proportional editing, and we can move this. So proportional editing is really helpful if you want to move a certain area. Alright, something like that. And we also could probably select the face and okay, so there you go, kind of straighten that out. And move this out a bit. Move it out a bit more. Okay. So we got some straps there. Again, this could be moved up. And gonna go select everything and scale it, tab it down. There you go. See, we don't want to make it look like it's floating. Go. There you go. And we also need one right here. So what we can do is go to edge here and select edge ring, go to vertex and face, and let's go ahead and duplicate that, Shift D. And let's separate that. Hit the tab key, and so there we are. And we could kind of fix this area up. And I'm going to turn off proportional editing. So for this one, I could select the edges here and move it a tad bit down. Maybe more. Okay. And kind of fix this up a bit. Doesn't have to be 100% perfect, but if we could straighten it out just a tad bit so it's not so jagged. And later on, when we add a subdivision surface to this, it's going to look a lot smoother. But it's best to kind of fix it a tad bit now. Alright. Okay, and for this one, we could add edge right here. Let's go, basically it's the same technique. Could you delete the face here, and we could select the edge and then extrude that out. And extrude again, and just scale it, and add another one right here, and kind of round things out. There you go. And we could go select all the faces here. Alt E, extrude along normals, and scale it up. There you go. And we could add some edge loops right here and right here. Another one right, or something like that. Okay, and could turn on proportional editing and kind of fix this placement. Okay, yeah, this right here is a problem. Yeah, this right here. So I'm gonna isolate that. It's fine. Okay, what we can do is add, using the cut tool, because you can see there's an edge loop here and it needs to, this kind of broke it, this triangle, so that could be fixed. You go select this one. What we could do is we could use our knife tool easily. There you go. And also right here. Okay, careful. Right here and right here. There you go. Same here. We need to use the knife tool. There you go. And this one here. And we could, of course, do some welding. Actually, before we do some welding, we could just remove some of the edges here. Dissolve these edges. Dissolve. And dissolve. Don't need that. Okay, great. And let's see if we could add an edge loop right here. It's not gonna work. So let's go to our knife. Make this go up to right here. Oh, careful with this. I'm gonna try again. Make sure you are very accurate with this. And I'm gonna add one right here up to here. Okay, the little issue here. Gonna turn off proportional editing. Okay, so I'm gonna go and remove the face there. That's fine, and remove the face right here. That's okay. Don't be alarmed. Alright, and now let's go add an edge loop right there and edge loop right here. Okay, and then we could go bridge this, bridge. Gotta make sure that we use the knife tool. You gotta be accurate with the knife tool. You make sure you select, you're either selecting a vertex or an edge, right? Okay, and then bridge these, and same here. Bridge. Okay, for this one, I'm gonna go and just delete this face here and add one right here and add one right here. And I'm gonna go ahead and bridge this here. Press F, F bridge. Same process. Bridge, bridge. There you go. Okay, and hide everything. Okay, great. Good. Kind of fix this area out. Straighten that out. There you go.